Dear Father Simon, my confession takes us back to when my friend and neighbour Joan had sadly passed away. I was talking to her daughter, offering condolences and asking when and where the funeral was going to be. She informed me it was to be the following week on Friday at the Creme, 1:30 p.m. Well, that's fine for me, I thought, because I don't work Fridays, so that's okay. Next Friday came around, I dutifully got myself ready, wearing an appropriate dark-coloured, sombre-looking outfit. Although I had lived in this particular town some years, I'd never been to a funeral, and I got lost on the way to the crematorium and arrived a little late. When I arrived, I could see the empty hearse outside the building, and people were already filing in, but I had to wait until they'd all entered before I could pass and park my car. Veteran confession listeners will know probably where this is heading. After eventually finding a parking space, I rushed back and opened the door to the crematorium to find it was packed inside and the service had already started. But a kindly gentleman waved me over to the back row. He scooted over and allowed me to sit down. I sat and thought, well, that all went rather smoothly eventually. After a few minutes of catching my breath and getting my bearings, I started to look around for people I knew would be there. I couldn't see anyone. Even surreptitiously stood up to see the front row.
Yeah.
I couldn't see my neighbour's daughters or husband. Then I heard the celebrant talking about Dorothy.
Oh, dear.
Dorothy? I thought, who the hell is Dorothy? Suddenly dawned on me, in a mouth-drying, stomach-churning second, I was at the wrong funeral. What to do? Well, after talking about Dorothy for a while, the funeral...
I mean, pretty much as you would expect.
I mean, fair enough.
For a while, you know. Oh, not Dorothy again.
Well... Okay, moving on then. Celebrant. The funeral celebrant started... Here's the bit. Here's the humdinger. The funeral celebrant started to walk up the centre aisle with the microphone in hand, asking different people what they remembered best about Dorothy.
Oh, no.
This is a bad idea at any funeral, surely. Well, I thought I can't be that unlucky. But no, God's wrath was upon me that day. As she arrived at the back row, she leaned over and asked me. Me!
Oh, no.
I was supposed to be at Joan's funeral. Anyway, she asked me, panic rising at this point, what I remembered about Dorothy. Well, a number of things ran through my mind at this point. I could pretend to be so choked up that I couldn't speak, but I'm not that good an actress. I could just mumble something about she was kind or she was funny, but maybe she wasn't, and everyone was there to make
I mean, you don't want to be inaccurate, do you? No,
maybe she was mean and boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everyone was there just to make sure she was really dead and gone. So, the only option I had left, and which seemed at the time a sensible option, was to turn, stand on the pew, leap off and run for the door. So that's what I did. I stood up, turned round, stepped onto the pew, leapt over it, and I was going to run for the door, but as I did so, the belt on my coat got caught on something, so rather than being able to run, I was stuck, chained to the pew! At this point, I heard a gasp, so instead of struggling with the belt, I took off my coat, pulled it free of the belt, and bolted for the door, leaving the belt behind. Well... Leaving the belt and a crematorium full of people with shocked expressions on their faces and wondering what the heck had just happened. Outside, I just hightailed it into my car, started it, literally peeled out of there, leaving several inches of rubber in the car park and driving like a bat out of hell until I was clear of the graveyard and the whole deeply embarrassing mess. Father Simon and the Worshipful Collective, I ask for forgiveness from Dorothy's family, friends and the poor lady conducting the service for creating such a spectacle at a funeral that until that point, my escape had been a rather nice service. I still have no idea who Dorothy was. By the way, my neighbour's funeral was the following Friday. Her daughter just assumed it would be Friday week, not 2 weeks away. But luckily, after the correct funeral, I was also able to retrieve my belt from the crematorium's office. I explained rather shamefacedly I was collecting it for a friend. I don't think they believed me. I'm sure they were laughing and pointing at me as I left. Yours in utter disgrace. It's from Trisha. Trisha. Tonight's story from Trisha, a little sharp there on the faders. You're not at the World Service now. Okay, so let's see the people's verdict. Sister Susie, producer of the programme from the pub, what do you think?
Well, it was just a number of errors, one after each other, isn't it? Who has that much bad luck that not only do you get lost, you arrive late, you get picked on, you're at the wrong funeral, then your belt gets stuck when you try to leave.
Trying to escape.
It's just, I can't. You're forgiven, Trisha, from me, because you went through all of that. I think it's fair enough.
Okay, Brother Matthew now.
I mean, is this now a thing where they come down the centre aisle and ask for everyone to give I've never been to a funeral where that's happened. It's a funeral, not The Price is Right. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be not a good idea.
It's not a good idea at all.
If you're at any time.
Definitely not. I mean, it seems a bit of an extreme reaction, Trisha, if I may say, to jump over the pew and rip off your belt. But you know, who
just
amongst
she was such a lovely lady.
She's a lovely lady, loved life. So I am going to forgive, because, you know, we'd have all done the same apart from the leaping over the pew. But it's well within your rights, Trisha, to leap over the pews.